are the champions who helped free a continent. These are the heroes who helped end a war. You are men who in your, quote, lives fought for life and left a vivid air signed with your honor. In the name of God and country, I learned to defy gravity. To honor my family, I lived in the belly of a beast. I fixed the hearts of iron monsters. I became a worm in the morning for dignity, for honor, for righteousness' sake, for God and country. I fought for you. I fought for you. For you. I fought for you. I fought for you. I fought for you. I fought for you. For you. For you. For you. For you. I fought for you. I fought for you. I fought for you, and I do it again.
Okay, so some of you, or many of you, have started learning about World War II, doing your research on your World War II essay. Today you've got somebody in the room who was there. Right? So I'm proud to introduce my mom and dad. My dad was in the Army in World War II. He's going to tell you about some of his experience before, during, and then after. And Mom is going to sit and listen and help him remember the things he forgets, right?
Thank you, Michael.
Y'all been married for how many years?
Pardon?
How many years you been married?
65.
65 years of marriage. There's a good example. Good Catholic couple. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Michael.
Welcome.
I want to thank all of y'all for inviting us out here for the Veterans Day. And if I might shed a tear or two, forgive me. Okay? It's our good memories. Dear long memories. This is my wife, Juanita. We've been married, like Michael said, 65 years. We've have 3 wonderful sons, Kenneth, Richard, and Michael, who y'all know as Mr. Fenoglio. He's our 3rd son. And we come from a little town up here called Montague, Texas. Our grandparents came from a little town just south of the Swiss Alps and on the border of France. They migrated to the United States, and can everybody hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Sometimes I don't talk too loud now, so if I do, we'll just speak up there. They came over here in February of 1872. They come from a little town called Proscorsano and Prato Caesar. Now, of course, my grandpa was named Fenoglio. Mother's name was Vicari. Her daddy died in Italy, so she came over with her mother and 4 other children. And they settled in Montague, Texas, same as my grandparents did. And this is where my daddy was born. He was born in a little church that my grandfather and his brother and brother-in-law and a guy named Raimondo. They built a little cat. First thing they did was find out where the priest was. They found him, he was in Dallas, so he had to come by bus or train to Bowie, and then they'd pick him up in a wagon and take him to Montague, and he'd say mass or whatever. He'd only come over maybe once a month. By the time Juanita and I got there, well, we were having masses on every second and the fourth Sunday in this same little church where my parents and their parents were married. So, so on the second and the fourth Sunday, we attended two masses, one at 8 o'clock and one at 10. Of course, I served the masses, so I had to be there. Most people then, we only had mass on 2 Sundays, so to keep the faith, we were there for 8 o'clock mass and also 10 o'clock mass. And we didn't miss one of them. Of course, we look forward, being an Italian group, a lot of these families come over from Italy. We had what we call bocce games in the afternoon. This is where we started. So this is where we grew up. We learned to love our country. We were taught to be good Christians, to love your neighbor as yourself. And we worked in the fields. We raised cotton, corn, peanuts, watermelons. We had horses and cattle. We had to get up through about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, go milk the cow, and then we had breakfast. We had to walk to school, which was 3 miles away. And not everybody did that. Out of my family, there was 9 children. 3 of us graduated from high school. The rest of them dropped out of school like most kids did back in those days. They worked on the farm. But, me and 2 of my brothers, who we didn't care much for farm work, so we'd rather go to school. So that's the reason we graduated high school. Keep out of it. We did our part. We were up early in the morning, late at night, weekends. I could pick as much cotton as anybody else, even though we're about your age. And we were expected to do our chores. And then from there, we had, of course, we all got along good. And then we had no radios. We had a newspaper that we got from Wichita Falls, Texas, every day at our farm in Montague. And this is where we kept up with the news. And of course, time we got the newspaper, the news was old. And most of it was about a week old by the time we got the paper. So this one Sunday morning, on December the 7th, 1941, we were at church. And our person who ran the grocery store came down and told us that the Japanese had bombed Pearl Harbor. Of course, by that time, I had one brother in California. My oldest brother was working in the steel mill. Next oldest brother was on the 36th Infantry Division. The next brother was in the Navy. He was at Pearl Harbor when the attack occurred. He and one of his buddies were walking to church that morning. They were on the USS Pennsylvania. So as they were walking to church, he saw these airplanes coming in. Excuse me. But he said they started machine gunning them, and his friend was killed up beside him. He said he ran back to the USS Pennsylvania and went through some doors that they never could open before, but he said I was scared. I grabbed them doors and opened them up anyway. But that's the way our war started. Of course, we didn't know this happened until the next day. And we found out that the Japs had attacked Pearl Harbor. Then we began wondering about my brother. Fortunately, he called our parents and told them that he was all right. So we were happy for that. And after that, my sister Sylvia worked in the bomb factory in Fort Worth, helped building bombers, B-24 bombers. My oldest sister married a farmer, and they worked on the farm, produced farm goods. When I turned 18, I came to Camp Walters in Mineral Wells, and I was a member of the Army. I was turned 18 years old. My younger brother had to wait another year before he could volunteer, and he joined the Navy when he was 17. So we were all taking part in the war effort, as most people did then. If anybody didn't, they were looked down upon. Of course, I don't know of anybody who wasn't in one fight for the country. Our oldest Jim was in the 36th Infantry Division. He was stationed at Camp Hood and he was shipped to Italy. He and I got there about the same time after I completed my basic training of infantry and chemical warfare at Camp Sibert, Alabama.
Show a picture of it.
So here's my brothers. There's 5 of us. This is Melvin. He was in the Navy. He's the youngest. This is me. This is Charlie. He's the one that was at Pearl Harbor when the Japanese attacked. This is Frank. He was lucky. He got to stay in the States. He trained other soldiers to fight. He was married and started his family. So at that time, if you were married and starting a family, well, they didn't ship you out unless you were already in a unit. And that's Jim. He's the one that was in the 36th Infantry Division. I completed my training at Camp Sibert, Alabama. I was trained as an infantry and chemical warfare because we didn't know that whether or not the Germans might start using gas. And, luckily they didn't. We were ready if they did. So I learned how to shoot a .3 30 caliber rifle. I was good at that, so they gave me an automatic rifle. It's called a Browning automatic rifle. And I learned how to shoot it. And I know you boys would probably like to see it in the working. Whenever you shot it, it just went up like that. You had held 20 rounds. Hit that thing, and when you pulled the trigger, they were all gone in 2 seconds. During that 2 seconds, you gun went like that. That's so if you were in battle and you were going to fire, well, you could take out quite a few people like that. Maybe we don't need to talk about that. I know you boys are interested. Charlie's been good shots too. I got to be a marksman, so that's the reason I gave me a BAR and I took it overseas. When I got overseas, they made me a messenger for a general. So I didn't have to go to the front lines. We were delivering messages to other units and people in the headquarters. And we had our own guards. We had the Missouri Military Police, the regiment from the 34th Infantry Division were protecting us as we delivered messages and things like that. Only one time, when I first got over there, I got the first touch of the war. We landed in Casablanca, Morocco. It was dark, so we went on to the beach and they told us to sleep wherever we could find, so we threw down our bags and everything and went to sleep. When I woke up the next morning, I was sleeping on top of a red ant bed. They had red ants in North Africa just like they have here in Texas. I was lucky I woke up before they did, so we got out of there. While we were there, we were stationed at a deployment camp. We were not assigned to a particular unit. We came over with a group of 4,000 people on a ship named Mariposa. And y'all might see the name Mariposa here in Fort Worth, but I noticed the other day they have a restaurant out here off of Camp Lewis named Mariposa. It's just open. I plan to go out there and see what that looks like sometime. Mariposa held 4,000 of us troops. And on the way over here, we had priests and preachers on there, and they have the mass every morning and the Protestant services every morning on the deck of the ship. So they didn't leave us out, getting us prepared for coming to Africa. Protestants would sit around and watch the Catholics, and the Catholics sit around and watch the Protestants. We all One thing we did believe in, all religions were good. If you didn't know whether yours was right or not, you better be there with somebody else. But maybe theirs was the right one. You didn't know when God was going to call you. So that was one thing we had. Respected everybody. Of course, there were some people who started out that didn't think there was a God. Once they started seeing the bombs fall and shells fly, there was no one who didn't believe in God. They began believing right away. They could pray. So I was assigned to the headquarters in Algiers. The general I was to be a messenger for him was a good friend of General George Patton. You all read about World War II, where you know about General Patton. He was one of the biggest generals, one of the toughest generals in the Army. And I'm always proud to say that I was working with his friend, messenger for his friend. I got to salute him and shake his hand. His hand shook the hand of General George Patton. He was not appreciated by some of the people who didn't believe in tough fighting. He was one leader who led his troops. He had less casualties than all the other people who sat around and didn't work where as active as he was. If you read history, you'll find out that he's one of the most respected generals during World War II. There were 70 million soldiers took part in World War II. 16 million soldiers were killed. The war lasted for 8 years, I think it was. We didn't get into it until we were in there for about almost 4 years. There were 18 million civilians died, wounded, and mission will never be known. There's a lot of people who just disappeared. There was 16 million in the U.S. military forces, and 400,000 of them died. Most people then people come from all over the country, so everyone knew people who were in the service, whether it was Army, Navy, Marines. So everybody knew someone who was injured, who was missing, or who died in World War II.
Want to tell them the story about Uncle Jim?
When I got to Africa, I thought we were getting there to fight. First thing he did was take my gun away from me. Put me in this replacement depot. So we went there, and we were walking guard duty, and we weren't allowed to carry ammo, so because they didn't want us to shoot any civilians. But the civilians were down the hill there, and they would shoot at us when you hear the bullets go by. But it was good that they didn't let us shoot back, because we could have started another war, I guess. Anyway, all of us come through of it all right. We had to walk fast. We had to walk out and walk a bullet. We go out and walk a bullet. I don't think so either. And I found out that my brother Jim was over there too, and he was stationed not too far from where I was, but I couldn't get to him. He was in the 36th Division. They were getting ready for the invasion of Italy, although the invasion of Sicily had not taken place yet. But after the Sicilian invasion, we won that war. And I was assigned to Allied Force Headquarters in Algiers, Africa. So I tried to get transferred to Jim's division, my brother Jim, but they wouldn't let me, because at that time, shortly before I went over there, there was 5 Sullivan brothers who were serving on the same destroyer in the U.S. Navy in the Pacific. And the destroyer was sunk, and all 5 of them died together in one destroyer. So when that happened, they would not let 2 brothers serve in the same outfit near each other. This was good. You can imagine a family losing 5 sons at one time. It's hard to imagine. always remember the Sullivan brothers. That was the first part of the war. So they wouldn't let me, I told my officers I wanted to go join the brothers. They said, no way you get there. Besides, these officers had been in the invasion of Africa. They told me, they said, I will not assign you to a combat outfit. So I had to respect that. Anyway, I was the messenger and did what they asked me to do. So this general, he was a friend of General Patton. General Patton came in there one day, and we had guards around us. He came by the guard post, and we went right on through, and that guard said, halt. General Patton said, I don't have to halt, I'm General Patton. He was lucky that guy could have shot him, you know, and got away with it. Even though he was General Patton, he shouldn't have done that. He should have stopped and identified himself. Of course, this guy knew him, so he wasn't in any trouble. We were in Algiers, and during the invasion of Italy, when the beach was cleared and the troops fought north of Rome. This is where my brother was fighting. He was one of the first waves of the invasion of Italy. He said when he hit the beach, he could hear tanks just over the hill. German tanks were coming at him. He was a sergeant in charge of a machine gun squad. So they told him he's supposed to get to the top of that hill and set up a machine gun. So that's where he went. He took off. He had his machine gun with him, and he turned around, and nobody else was going with him. So the rest of them knew that the Germans were just on the other side of the hill. So he said, I turned around, I ran back too. So, then they came back up and all got on the other side of the hill. Of course, we drove the Germans back. But he was lucky. He was injured 3 times. I think. One, the Battle of Cassino, the Vito River, and San Pietro. Those were the big battles. And if you would see those, I went through the towns after they fought their battles, and they were just rock piles. They weren't towns anymore. They were just rock piles. Went into the little place called San Pietro. You could see the monastery at the top of the next hill. That monastery was used by the Germans to put their armor and guns and everything, because the Americans told them they would not bomb the monastery because that was a religious place. But then they put their guns up there. They didn't shoot at us. When they did that, 2 bombers went across there and demolished the monastery. And you had to protect your own people. So we went to San Pietro. I got there, it was just a pile of rubble. There were some nuns there with some children. When we got there, they come out of the caves to come up to greet us, because we were their friends now. Our troops had already gone by. So we got to meet the nuns and the little children they were taking care of. I think y'all have seen pictures of some of these that were here. Haven't, well, here's some pictures of casinos, just piles of rubble here. When you get through, y'all can come through here and look at them. But the nuns were glad to see us too. We were getting rid of the enemy, driving them north. When they got to the other side of Rome, we set up our headquarters just north of Naples, between Naples and Rome, and that's when I found out where my brother was. He'd already been wounded, like I told you, 3 times. He was on his way home. I found out where he was. He was in a camp just north of Naples. So me and one of my Texas friends caught rides, and we walked into his tent. He had no idea that I was in Italy anywhere. So we walked into his tent, and there was Jim. So he was glad to see us. Same as we were glad to see him. And we were lucky because we got there the day before he came back to the States. So I think I probably have his pictures here too. I was glad to see him get out of there. Come on back home where he belonged. Of course, he came back and he trained other soldiers to do what they needed to do. When we got stationed in Caserta, near Rome, not too long after that, the Germans surrendered. That was in May of 1945. So we were all being ready to go to ship to Japan and fight the Japanese. So as we were getting ready, and some of my buddies were already pulling out and going, and they were training us as we left. Before my time came, the Americans dropped the atomic bomb on Japan, and it was a big bomb. You all might know about it. Some people think it should have been dropped. If it hadn't been dropped, I wouldn't be here talking to y'all today. Plus, I think they figured it would have been about 5 million of United States soldiers to be killed to invade Japan. So that's a lot of people. And, we were happy to drop that bomb. We got finally Japanese surrendered in August of 1945. And then at that time, we were all getting ready to come home. You had to count how many months you've been over there, how long you've been in service, add up the points, see when your term would come. So my term came in November of 1945, or the end of November. Nobody have got anything here, Michael?
I don't think so. So now you're heading back home?
Yeah.
We had your VE Day, which is Victory in Europe Day.
Right. Yeah, when Japan surrendered because of the bombs that were dropped on them, and everybody got making plans to come home. I've been in the Army for 35 months, and my parents and nobody at home ever saw me as a soldier. But when I had my training in Alabama, I didn't get a furlough, didn't get to come home or anything, went straight to Africa. So they hadn't seen me for 35 months. During those times, we didn't worry about that. We had to get war over with first, and then we'd come home. And I heard no one complain about what they had to do. Might have been somebody complaining, but they wouldn't let anybody else know about it. So we were at other points when we did that, depending on when you could come home, they gave us an opportunity to go to Switzerland for 5 days. No pass. So we, each of us made plans to go into Switzerland, do that before our time came to come home. So we went through Switzerland, and that was a beautiful place. There was no war damage. Switzerland was not in the war. They were good. They were good to us. They have each evening that we were there. They had a big party, and they have dance. They played us Swiss music, which is y'all are playing Swiss music, kind of bounce around like that, you know. But we got to see them dance and sing, and they were having a good time. They were entertaining us and thanking us for what we had done, getting peace in Europe again. So we came, it was time to come home. Well, there was 17 of us boys from Texas. Most of the soldiers were coming back on the big battleships and aircraft carriers where they put thousands on there one time. They put us on one of them. Call them victory ships. We call them tugs. They were just small and they wouldn't hold any people. So they put 17 us Texans on there, and that was going to be our ride home, which we were happy to get on it. But as we come across the ocean coming home, it took us 17 days. Should have only taken a week. And we hit storms in the Atlantic Ocean when we got past Gibraltar. And that little ship, when the waves come in, that thing go up like this and slam itself down and shiver. So it took us a long time get here, and I found one of the motors went out, and I didn't have a bump, so they stuck me up in a second wheelhouse, and I could see all of this, and the water come over the ship and everything, and I could see the captain. He was running up and down the stairs. He was scared his ship was going to sink, I guess. I didn't watch him. I didn't want to get scared either. But he was very concerned. He had to save the ship. But that was the storm. The thing slammed down and rolled side to side and keep doing that. We finally got out of the storm and we got closer to the States. We came into Virginia, the same place that I'd left going overseas. So we got to Virginia. We went to the disembarkation center. That's when they gave us all of our instructions to go back to camp near our home. So they sent me and several guys, the other Bristol guys from Texas, to Camp Fannin, Texas, which is over here near Tyler, Texas. So we went there. When we got there, they were ready, had our papers ready to be discharged. Of course, they gave everybody an opportunity to sign up for longer term. We didn't want any more of that, so we all got out. Came on home. I came and got in the car with, they had people there who had to use their cars and to take the soldiers back home. So I found one that's going to Fort Worth, and me and 3 other guys from Fort Worth got in this car. So we had to pay him like a taxi, which wasn't very much in those days. We got back to Fort Worth. It took me 3712 College Avenue. That's where my folks had moved when I was left for the Army. When we got there, they sent me a picture of the house. It was a brick house. And we came to it, I said, hey, that's it. So I got out and went up to the house, and my brother, the oldest brother from California, and his wife, and they had a little child named Charlotte. They were there with my parents. They didn't know that it was time for me to be there. And I knocked on the door, and there they come. All of them came. It was good to see them. And we went in, and the other brothers came in. So we all greeted each other. We hadn't seen each other for about 3 years. So Mama began telling us how much she appreciated it, and she was worried about Jim, Charlie, and Frank, and Melvin. She said, hey, how about me? She said, when you left, you kissed me and you said, Mama, I'll be back. That saved her. Of course, she worried about me too, but not as much as she did the others. So always remember that what you say really means something to other folks. So my mama knew that. She said, you told me you were coming back. She said, I knew you were in trouble and everything, but you were coming back. You told me you. So she didn't worry about me as much as she did the others. We all got together and had a big time. And we began settling down. The first thing I did, me and my younger brother, Melvin, he and I were pretty close buddies. We were about the same age growing up. So we liked to fiddle and guitar music, country dances and stuff like that. I don't know if y'all have fiddle and guitar music around here in country dances. That's the only thing we had then. So we thumbed our way to Louis, Texas, and found somebody from Montague and rode over there with him. And when we got there, I remembered one of the girls told me when I left, said, when you get home, we're going to have a big dance just for you and your brothers. So I let her know we were home. That evening we had a big dance. And we were dancing. Those things, y'all probably don't understand how country dances were, but there weren't too many people there. We had a fiddle and a guitar player, and they set off over in the corner out of the way. Made the music, the rest of us danced. We went around in a circle, just like that. So as we started dancing, the girls that I knew when I left, they were all there too. So putting my cap on, I started out putting my cap on one of the girls, and when I did, I let her know, put my cap on, I'm going to dance with you. So Then they danced a ball, they passed the cap on to some other girl, and I danced with her. They went on for several girls. Finally, one of them gave my cap to Juanita, and she put it on, and I danced with her, and she wouldn't take it off. So the only way I got her to take that cap off, I had to marry her. Here it is right here. This is what I wore all during the service. Got her beat up now. This is the one she wouldn't, it fit her head just right. So we got married on August 3rd, 1947. And she's been married to me for 65 years. Can you imagine that? You didn't know she'd stay with me that long, would you? She's been wonderful. We have 3 wonderful children. They have families of their own now. We have 8 grandchildren, 8 great-grandchildren. One of our grandchildren is a field hockey coach of the team in Washington, D.C., captain. Her team got 1 game away this year from being the national champions. They lost just the other day to some other teams. They played field hockey.
Catholic University. Catholic University in Washington.
Catholic University of Washington, D.C. She's been there for quite a few years. She has 2 of our great-grandchildren. One of them we haven't seen yet, but they'll be here Christmas. We're going to all be together this Christmas, the whole family. We're looking forward to that. Michael will give us a place to have our little party. Settle in. We just like old times, we have a good time. That's about it, isn't it, Michael?
Korean War when it started.
Pardon?
Korean War when it started. Oh, story about Grandma.
Yeah, 1950. I always remember October the 29th, 1950. The Korean War was started. They called my brother Charlie, who was in the Navy, Pearl Harbor when they attacked, which everybody will know. They called him back into the Navy. So we thought we were going to have to find another big war. So on October the 29th, Papa and Mama were listening to the radio every morning at 6 o'clock. So they heard on the news that the hordes of Chinese troops crossed the Yalu River into South Korea, North Korea then, south. And when Mama heard that, she fell over dead because she knew that we were all going to go back to another war. She had a stroke. She never woke up after that. She died the next day. During the war, my sister Sylvia, who stayed with Papa and Mama at home, she said Mama cried every night. She would hear her crying every night. So for 3 years, she cried every night that we were gone. She was another mother. It's hard to lose a mother. But when we were going to have her funeral, the funeral director told us that we needed to have some pallbearers. I spoke up and I said, pallbearers for Mama will be her sons. So her 6 sons were her pallbearers for her funeral. And Papa died and did the same thing for him. We were a close family. We remained close to the end. Now we have only 2 of us still living. Melvin and I have a younger brother who was in the Navy, South family. He's down here in a nursing home. He can hardly see. He can't walk. He's in a wheelchair. So I thank the Lord for taking care of me. I can still walk and get around. Not too long ago, I was playing baseball catch with Michael and people like that. We did pretty good. Right now, he thinks he can beat me. I'll still take him on. We thank the Lord for our 3 sons, all their families. We thank Him for taking us to St. Mary's Church in Fort Worth. And from there we come to St. Andrews. At St. Mary's Church, I was a club master, basketball and baseball coach. You know who our rivals were? St. Andrews. We were always wanting to play St. Andrews. We'd win a game or two, and they'd win a game or two. Mr. Finoglio played against St. Andrews. He was playing baseball for Page.
Yeah. St. Andrews was the evil enemy back then. Yeah.
So most of the people who made up St. Andrews then belonged to St. Mary's. When they started St. Andrews Church, and then wherever you lived, when you were transferred to St. Andrews. So we knew all the people over here. They knew us. We were friendly or private. We had good times together. I think that's about it. That's good. Y'all leave us open for questions if you have any questions. Okay.
Did you ever shoot a sniper?
Pardon?
Did you ever shoot a sniper?
A sniper.
A sniper?
Did you ever shoot a sniper?
A sniper? No, I was capable of it. When they assigned me to be a messenger, we didn't carry guns. We rode jeeps, walked or ran or whatever we did. We had military police and a member of the 34th Division, like I said, took care of us.
Did you ever drive a tank?
Ever drive a tank?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
One of my sons did, Richard. He was a tank during the Vietnam War when he was in the Army. He didn't. The war ended before he got over there. But he could drive a tank. His name was Richard. He was just over as he might be.
Did you ever feel like you were gonna die during the war?
I can't hear too good. So
Did you ever feel like you were gonna die during the war?
Did you ever feel like you were going to die during the war?
no, I never. You know, when you're older and young as I was, I didn't think anybody could kill me. Of course, that's what all the other people too thought too. No, never thought that I was going to die.
My grandfather is in the war. Was in World War II. So
Her grandfather was in World War II.
Was he?
he was in the Air Force.
Where did he?
Air Force?
Air Force. We liked the Air Force. They dropped bombs. The other people. They took care of it.
How did it feel coming home from the war?
How did you feel coming back from the war?
Yeah.
How did you feel when you were coming back home?
I was happy to come back home. Looking forward to coming back, getting some good food, seeing all the friends, the cousins. All of our friends then we were a little Italian community. Most of my friends were cousins and people I went to school with in Fontaine, because school wasn't very big. The total number in school was 300. That's from the first grade through the 12th. Wasn't too many in school. Sure, I was glad to come back and see all the friends.
How was food when you were at war? What was the food like when you were at war?
Food, sometimes it wasn't very good. After the war, then they started feeding us good. And I'm glad you brought that up, because when we were going from Casablanca and Morocco and going to Algiers, we stopped on the way to Algiers, got out and we were going to eat. They had restrooms across on the side of the hill. The restrooms were out in the open, everybody could see them. There were people lined up on the hill and watched us use the restrooms. So then we got a chance to eat, and we had what we call sea rations. You ate from a can, you opened it up. And as I started eating mine, here come 2 little kids, little girls. I guess she was maybe 6, 7 years old. She had her brother by the hand. walked over to him and they stood there, and I looked at him, and this little boy had flies all around his head, and I looked at him, I could see his eyes were sore. He had, you know what screwworms are?
Not what?
Screwworms.
Yes, I do.
These are things that get into sores, you know, and eat people. That's what they were doing to this little boy. I was hoping some medics would come by and treat him. But I took all the food I had and I handed it to the little girl. And they went off and I'm sure they ate it all. I didn't eat any food after that. Let them eat it.
Did you kill a lot of people?
You know what?
Did you kill a lot of people?
No, I didn't. Probably some of the actions I took part in helped. But, as far as shooting someone direct, we had these other people protecting us. My job was to deliver a message and not to fight. Okay.
Were you ever in a tank?
Were you ever in a tank?
Okay.
They seem to be interested in tanks today. Were you ever in a tank?
I was in one. I just went in there to look.
Did you fight against the Nazis?
Did you fight the Nazis? Yeah. You fought the Nazis?
Yeah. One time, oh no, it wasn't in the fighting. There were people after us. I can tell you one or two instances where we came pretty close. One little town that hit me was me and one of my friends delivering messages, walking down the street. First thing we know, about 40 or 50 people surrounded us. And we didn't know what they were saying. It didn't sound like it was very nice. So we said, let's back up against this wall over here and we'll fight them as long as we can. Neither one of us had a gun. So we backed up against the wall. And as these people came at us, it was pretty scary. But I figured this buddy of mine and I would take part in it. Before they got to us, some guy came running up there and got in front of them, some Italian civilian, and stopped him. I don't know who that guy is, who he was, or where he is, or anything. Tell you, we sure thanked him because there's no way we could have gotten out of that. Maybe a few other scrapes like that, but that was one of the worst ones. Somebody back there. Yeah, one of them.
Well, my grandpa was in World War II as well, and he told my dad that whenever they came back, the people who invented the peace sign were like really, really mean to them. So they thought it was wrong what they did. And was that true?
Could you hear that, Miss Driscoll?
Some of the people who were promoting peace were mean to the soldiers who were returning. And she's asking if that happened to you at all. Were people upset with you for fighting instead of being in peace?
No, they weren't. The people didn't act like that back in those days. If they had, they would have been the one that got hurt, not us. Different times, different ways. You can go see your head and ask me.
What was your rank?
Pardon?
What were your ranks?
My rank, I was corporal when I got out. I wasn't very high, but it was the best I could do. Okay, who else had an ask you? Okay?
I have 2 questions. One, did you carry a sidearm?
Carry a sidearm? I did for a while, but I didn't.
And my other question is probably going to be really gross, but what happens if you needed to go to the restroom while you were fighting?
Go to the restroom?
Yeah.
Well,
While you were fighting.
That's
if you weren't in
disgusting.
town, if you weren't in town, you found the best place you could. Just like we did. And that's what, I was raised on the farm. We didn't have any restrooms. So I knew what to do. All these other people in the city, it was something new to them. To me, I could go out down the creek or anywhere like that. Who had a restroom?
My uncle, he's actually serving in the Navy. He's actually active in the Navy, like as we speak today. So.
She has an uncle in the Navy now. Frank was in the Navy now.
Now, maybe? Where is he?
Well, he's on a ship in the ocean somewhere, but I don't really know
Out
where.
Pacific?
How did it feel whenever you were on top of the hill?
On top of the hill?
What hill? The machine gun part? Or did you run the machine gun on top of the hill? That was his brother.
Top of the hill? Well, if I was there on top of the hill,
Just remember the story about Uncle Jim, who sprinted up there with a machine gun and then nobody was following him, and then ran back.
when he found out nobody was behind him, well, he took off and went back with the rest of them. And then he came back with them. They told him where to go, so that's where he's supposed to go. The rest of them didn't go with him. He took off and went back there where they were.
Did you ever see Hitler? No.
Ever see who?
Hitler?
No, I didn't. Okay, let's get you one at a time here.
Were you ever on the USS Missouri?
Were you on the USS Missouri?
USS Missouri was a ship that came in, that's where the peace treaty with Japan was signed in Tokyo Harbor. Yeah. But I wouldn't, my brother wasn't on it.
There's a picture of it out here of when they signed the treaty in Missouri.
Who else hadn't asked a question?
Me?
Yeah.
My uncle is also serving in the Navy. I think he's somewhere in Afghanistan or something like that. Did you ever get to go to, did you get to see the atomic bomb? The atomic bomb
Did you
before
get
it
to see the
exploded?
atomic
No,
bomb?
I was over in Europe when the bomb took place.
I think it's the boys' turn to sit in the chairs. It's only like 10 minutes left.
What was the worst situation you were in?
Yeah, I didn't hear you.
What was the worst situation you were in?
I was in, I don't know how many worse than this. When bombs were dropping around you, and I did that quite a few times. And then when these people backed me up against the wall, that was another time. But that was personal then. Of course, there was several times that happened. But we were always able to get out of it. We were walking. If you want to know just one occasion now, a friend of mine from Louisiana, that we were real close buddies. We were walking down the streets of one town, and a bunch of people got in behind us. We could hear them talking, and they sounded like they were angry. So I told them Robert McWhorter, I said, let's just keep walking. I said, whenever somebody touches you, then we'll take action. We were lucky, nobody did, so we kept on walking. It was times like, you had a lot of cases like that that happened.
How long did you serve?
How long did you serve?
From February 1943 until December the 22nd, 1945, so about 35 months.
My cousin's in the army stationed in Afghanistan.
Her cousin is in Afghanistan with the army.
Cousin, thank you for your service. Hope everything goes well with you.
Actually my great uncle, he was in the Air Force, and he actually died in war. He was in the Air Force.
She has a great uncle who was in the Air Force who died.
And then also, did you go on the USS Lexington?
Were you ever on the USS Lexington?
No, strictly infantry, so it's on the ground.
Did you ever throw a grenade? Did you ever throw a grenade?
Oh, a grenade.
Did you ever throw a grenade? Did you ever throw a grenade?
Over I did practice, yes. Fortunately, I never did have to. In action. They would. You better handle that thing right. I tell you, handling a grenade, once you let the, let it become activated, you got, like it was 7 to 8 seconds we had then, a long time ago. You had so much time to get rid of that thing, better get rid of it. Don't it tear you to pieces.
Did you ever get seasick when you were on the ship?
Did you get seasick when you were on the ship?
No, I wasn't. I enjoyed my ship back. People were surprised. You get seasick. You know, when we were on a farm, we went during the summertime. We had stock tanks. That'll bring water out of it. So we learned to swim at an early age. I could swim for hours at a time. And this is, I'm glad you reminded me of this. This is what saved my brother Charlie in the Navy. Besides being at Pearl Harbor, he was also on an aircraft carrier at Iwo Jima during the invasion. And 3 kamikaze Japanese planes sunk his aircraft carrier. He had to jump off the deck. He was in the water for, I think he said, for about 4 hours. He had to swim for 4 hours. And this training that we had on the farm, swimming on our own, we enjoyed. Probably saved his life, but he said a lot of his friends couldn't swim that long. And every once in a while he'd see one of them go under. But he was able to swim for as long as he needed to stay alive. So what you do is important sometimes.
Did you ever have to set up camp anywhere?
Did you have to set up camp anywhere?
Yeah, once in a while. Once I got overseas, once I got assigned to the headquarters, they had their own we had bombed out buildings we stayed in, such as that. Just setting up camp, did that much time, training, and some of the times while I was in Africa. Some of the guys didn't know, we called them city folks, just like y'all. Of course, we might know what to do. A lot of them didn't know anything about farm life. So we had the advantage on them. They learned fast. They learned how to dig factory foxholes, fill them up, dig it up again, fill it up again. Depending on what you were into.
Was your dad in the army?
Was your dad in the army?
My dad? No, he wasn't. He sent 5 of us sons over there. During World War I, he had some friends who served in that war. You stop and think, we've had wars for everybody, I think. Starting with the Revolutionary War and coming right on up to World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Korea, still something going on now. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we didn't have to have wars? It's ones who don't take part in it, or who don't have any of their family, don't realize how hard it is. Very difficult to have a war going on and having someone you love serve you, not knowing what's happening.
Did you ever have any friends taken, like in held?
Did you ever have any friends what?
Held in held hostage?
Like as prisoners?
Yeah.
Okay. Did any of your friends ever get taken as POWs?
POW?
Any friends?
We had 1 or 2 people from Montague, I can't remember their names now, they were Japanese prisoners. That was awesome. They were lucky to come back.
Do you own a rocket launcher?
Rocket launchers came in right at the end of World War II. Germans was launching them toward England.
Did you get to shoot a 20 millimeters?
You know what?
Did you get to shoot a 20 millimeter, those big anti-tank guns?
A 20 millimeter. Did you ever shoot one?
We trained with 4.2 mortars, and they were similar to the big mortar. Most mortars are just small. This 4.2 mortar was big. It was fired up thing just like an artillery shell. You could fire in and go straight up, ready to ram next to you. Get the enemy as they were coming in.
How about one more question?
How do you get a mortar to work? I mean, you just light it, drop it in.
Do you work with mortars? Did you train with mortars? He's wondering how they work.
You train with them. You had the mortar shell here, mortar shell. You dropped it down this little kind of pipe like you've seen a mortar, and you drop that down in there, hit the bottom, and just took off. And you had angles you could set that. If you held it straight up, it just come straight down on you. You had it set where you could get the range how far you wanted that mortar to come back down and land. The enemy was 100 yards away, when you set it at 100 yards, it'd come down 100 yards away from you. Hopefully getting him instead of you.
So you just light it and you drop it in.
It's not like firecrackers.
No. It had its own it was just like shooting a rifle or a shotgun. You hit the shell, it explodes. That's what this does. You hit the bottom, takes off. Better have it aimed the right way.
Mr. Fenoglio, do you have anything else you want to add? Or wrap it up?
Thank everybody again for inviting me here, and I hope thank you very much. Thank you all for having me here.
Okay, thanks for coming.
Thank you for coming.
I'll leave the photos and artifacts up all day, so when you come in for your block, I'll give you time to look at it too. But as you file out, you could also take a look at it, I guess.
Yeah, after the
I'll
block.
stand here and have a question when you file out.
After walking on my foot.
Mrs. Gonzalez, listen up. Mrs. Gonzalez, block. Get back to